Going inside oneself, what we suggest is that you go into your own heart chakra, and because you love you, you can put love out. And love is something that is really needed within this now. And it doesn't matter that you have to put it here, there, anyway, just the fact that you radiate it, that you allow yourself to feel the love. And it's also very helpful if you then ground the love and ground it right down into the core of Gaia, because Gaia is having a lot of challenges now, because whenever humans are having challenges, they tend to take it out on poor Gaia. And so Gaia is having her challenges. And we, the galactics, we care first about the planet. And what we would like to say to all of the humans, if you don't care first about the planet, then what happens if the planet doesn't work? That's where you live. That's where you live. That's who you are. And so to put making money or being famous or whatever people put instead of, to put that instead of taking care of the planet on which you live, that's the most important thing.
I agree. This idea of taking care of the planet, many people think of, oh, well, I have to recycle more, I have to go to the beach and pick up trash. I think that's one side of it. But I really think that what you were talking about before with radiating that self-love within yourself first and then being able to share that, that is taking care of the planet, because you are a part of the planet. We're all a part of the planet. And when we talk about finding common ground nowadays, which seems so hard, why don't we start with the ground that every single one of us walks on every single day? So it takes it even outside of climate change, outside of all of these topics that are still important, and it takes it to something broader, that we need to recognize that there is something more to ourselves that we all have in common, and that's the planet that we live on.
Yes. And so let's all just take a moment and close your eyes and take a long, slow, deep breath and realize that Gaia, that Earth, is a living being. It is a living being. Its heart is inside of it, just like the human's heart is inside of the human. And the guidance comes in through that heart, into the core of Gaia. And when humans can allow themselves to think about going into the core, and you don't have to think about what it looks like, just like if you talk about going into the core of yourself, you have some kind of an idea what it might look like because you know the organs that you have. But when you go inside yourself, you don't just look at your organs. Going inside yourself is where you first go down, down, down into Gaia and remind Gaia, I am with you. We are with you. We are and vowed to be the guardians for planet Earth. And there are, of course, many wonderful humans who are being guardians. That means that humanity is being called forth more than ever to look at the planet as a living creature, as a living being, and to think of themselves the guardians of that living being. And so not allowing oneself to get pulled into this drama or this bad thing or that negative thing. Yes, that's humans doing whatever humans do. You don't have a lot of control over what the different humans are doing around you. But everybody has the same mother, and that mother is Mother Earth.
Yes, what a wonderful reminder to recognize the impact that we have comes from within. It doesn't come from how we influence other people. And it doesn't come from trying to change other people. How we influence and impact the world starts from within and recognizing our own power. And it's really difficult to do that when we do get swept up in those dramas, in those temporary engagements or conflicts. Now, it's not to say that we shouldn't put our focus there ever, but it's the getting swept away in it, like you, the Arcturians, were saying, in that we get lost, and then we start to get lost in finding ourselves too. We get caught up in the noise, and we get caught up in the drama and the darkness. And so if we don't find our inner light, then how are we ever going to make any kind of impact that is lasting, that is tangible, and that affects something greater than our own selves and our own interests?
Yes, and many humans believe that the only humanoids that are on Earth are third-dimensional humans. But there are other humanoids, but they aren't on that third-dimensional frequency range. And you can only understand, communicate with the frequency range that your consciousness can match. And so if you're very frightened, if you're very angry, then you're on one of those lower frequency ranges where there's lots of anger, there's lots of fear, and all those types of things are going on, because that's the frequency range that you have allowed your consciousness to connect with. And this is a very big challenge for the humans on Earth within this now, because on the one hand, there are things that are going on that could be very damaging to many, many people, the planet, everything. And so the humans need to be aware of their outside, but they have to realize that their inside is where the truth is. You will not find the truth from going outside. And pretty much anyone who's watched any of the news or gone with anything has seen that there's a lot of people that are just saying a whole lot of things, and half the things don't go with the other half of the things, and that's really confusing. And so then people are like, well, what can I do? It's just a big mess. Well, what you can do is you can go inside yourself. And inside yourself, you have control. Now, maybe when you first go in, you'll feel like you're a mess. And of course, I mean, it's scary, it's confusing, it's up, it's down. It's like, who knows what? There's no security. Everything that you thought was good turned out to be bad, and bad is good. And what? Oh, heavens, it's such a mess. So therefore, going inside your own chakras. So we'd like to just take a moment and start off with the crown of your head and take a long, slow, deep breath and feel that there is love and light. Now this love and light, you can't see love and light, but you can feel it. And you can feel that there is a possibility for love and light within your mind, within your emotions, within your body. And so starting at the top of your head, just feel that love and light and pretend that you can, through your closed eyes, you open your higher dimensional eyes. And what love do you see? What do you love right now? Who do you love? Where do you love? Take a moment and feel that external love that hopefully you are experiencing. And if you aren't experiencing now, then open up that door to allow that love to come into your heart. And as that love comes into your heart, allow that love to go all the way down your body and go into the core of Gaia's heart. And then Gaia can amplify that love by hundreds of thousands of times. And then feeling that love as it comes up through the core of the planet, in through the base of your feet, and then gradually, slowly up your body, up into your first chakra, your second chakra, your third chakra, your fourth chakra, your fifth chakra, your sixth chakra, and your seventh chakra. And feel that alignment within your consciousness. Within your consciousness. So, Janie, you would like to share what you experience when you do that, because we can see that you were going through that exercise. And how did you experience that?
I experienced stillness and peace that came from the stillness. When I first thought about, okay, grounding in the love, sending that love into Gaia, it became such a mental exercise for me of, is it working? I can't visualize it. What does it look like? But something that I resonate to a lot with the idea of finding the love within and grounding it down, experiencing that and keeping that cycle going. It's the cycle of cause and effect. The energy you give out is the energy that you get back. And so it's less of a mental picture and less of a mental energy, and it's more of a lived experience. And the experience that I was living through as we did that exercise was, I found that my brain was able to take a back seat for a moment, because I brought my awareness to my energy body. And where our awareness is where our attention is going to go. So if all of our awareness is on our fears, on our doubts, on the noise of the third dimension, then that's where our attention and that's where our energy is going to stay. But if we take a break like we just did in those last, couple beautiful minutes with you, Sue, and the Arcturians, like that's what helps to remind us that we can put our awareness onto love, onto light, and onto the goodness that's within all of us and within the planet.
And around the planet. Because the Arcturians are real, the Palladians are real, the Venusians are real. Gaia is not the only planet that has living beings on it. All those other planets have living beings. They may look very different than the living beings on Earth. They may talk different, but they're living humanoids. And like there's animals and there's birds and there's humanoids and other types of creatures that are all alive. And take a moment now to feel that you are a living humanoid. You are not just the person that has to pay the bills and drop the kids off and, go to the grocery store and do, who do I vote for now? Or what do I have to read? Oh, I'll get a good movie. I'm going crazy. Yes, of course. But inside of yourself is yourself. Your own higher dimensional expression of self. And just whatever it is that makes you calm. Some people might want to walk in the woods. Some people might want to do some exercises. Some people might want to talk to some friends. Some people might want to draw or to communicate with some people they haven't talked to for a while. But it is now that the humans, who are supposedly the most evolved beings on the planet, the humans that are able to acknowledge that they are good people and they want to help people, they want to help the planet, they want everyone to be happy and to be calm and feel safe. And there's lots and lots of people who feel that. And if every one of those yous that have those types of feelings, just think if you just take a moment and just breathe it out. Breathe it out into the atmosphere. Now, all of you have seen how much the fear and the negativity affects you. That fear and negativity, it affects you. You feel it inside of you. And now what we, the Arcturians, are saying, go up, 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 beyond even your highest chakra, and feel your galactic self. You all have a galactic self. It's your higher fourth and fifth dimensional expression of self. And all of you have it. Now, some people are totally disassociated from it, so they don't think that they have it. But that doesn't mean that they don't have it. It just means that they have not yet associated with the fact that, yes, we all have a higher self. Daddy, why don't you talk about that? You have good things that you say about that.
Absolutely. So it's expanding our awareness of who we perceive this self to be. There is the ego self, there is the physicality of ourselves that we see in the mirror every day, that we experience when we're awake from the time we go to bed. But this emphasis on energy, that's also us too. There is more to us than our bodies, and I know that we've talked about this before, but when we think about the other higher beings, like the Venusians, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, they might not be physical like us, but they still have that energetic component to them, and so do we. So when we want to connect with these beings, when we want to connect with our galactic selves first, we have to bring our awareness to our energy, to an expanded sense of ourselves, not just the third dimensional components to ourselves. There's more to us than that. So when we take off those limiting barriers that are often in our belief systems in our mind, then we find that we're able to touch into that more, and then we can bring it forth into our third dimensional reality, because it's not about escaping physicality, it's about enhancing it, it's about enjoying the experience. We're not going to have a lifetime like this again, so we might as well enjoy the ride, right? And how do we do that? Well, we're multidimensional beings, so why don't we take a multidimensional approach?
Yes. So let's kind of guide the people through it. So feeling your feet, your physical feet, allowing yourself, if you're sitting or standing, try to make your spinal column as natural as possible. You know, where there are curves, and you surrender into the curves, and there are parts that are straight, and so you hold that straightness, and then you go down through your legs and down into the core of the earth, and then you go up all the way up through your crown chakra at the top of your head and connect with your galactic family. It takes faith in yourself to believe in something that you cannot perceive with your physical eyes. However, you can feel it with your heart. And so with your heart, feel the higher frequency of light. That is you. You all have higher frequencies of light. All of you do. Even those who have completely forgot it and have seemed to completely become absorbed in the darkness, they do have that possibility to return to the light. But it is a free will planet. And so with your free will, you choose to live in the light. And so, Danny, would you like to share a little bit about how you feel that sense of living in your light, the light, whatever that means?
Yes. it's having an awareness on, yes, the physicality to stay grounded, but also an awareness that there's more than the physicality, and that being aware of my energy is very important. Being aware of where my focus is very important. And what I really appreciate about how you, Sue, and the Arcturians guide us in that meditation to bring our awareness to our higher selves, it starts off with the grounding and then up. So there's a balance, and living in light for me is about finding the balance. And when you find balance within, then you are able to find more avenues in your life to create it, because it's coming from an internal place. It's not about forcing or, taking a hammer to the nail. It's about getting in touch with your breath, getting in touch with your beingness.
Yes, and there is a core of Earth. And one time when I was on vacation and we were totally relaxing, we were in this little log cabin up at the top of a mountain someplace. I forget which mountain it was, but it was in California somewhere. And I went into a sort of a sleep, which went into a deep meditation. And I was taken into the core of the planet. And there is a core of the planet. And there is a core of us. And there is a core of whatever is going on. There is a core to it. And if that core is love and light and caring for others and caring for the planet and seeking information and reunion with our higher dimensional expressions of self and the many galactics that are around, and also the higher beings that are on these that are circling the planet. They know, they are completely telepathic. They know who is ready, what they do. They're like protectors. They're there, they're in their starships, they are connecting with the Pleiades or the Arcturians or the Venusians. They are Gaia's family. Gaia is a living being too. So now just take a moment and feel that there are starships that are out there. That just because they can't be seen through your third dimensional perceptions, that doesn't mean, because that doesn't mean they're not there, because they're not resonating to the third dimension. So these ships and these higher dimensional beings, they're resonating to like the fifth dimension and beyond. And so in order to perceive that fifth dimension and beyond, you have to be able to get to that state of consciousness. And there are humans that have been able to do that and do that regularly. And they are like the go-betweens. And they bring in that higher frequency and translate it into a manner in which the third dimensionals can understand, embrace, and support. We, the Arcturians, are so very proud of so many humans. There are so many humans who are standing firm within themselves, and they are realizing that this is a moment of immense transmutation into higher frequencies of consciousness. Because the higher frequencies are already there. They've always been there. But if your consciousness cannot resonate to that frequency, then you will not be able to have any kind of awareness that it is there. And also, as one realizes that they have chosen to take an incarnation during this time of vast change, of great transition, and of a lot of danger. And they know that they chose to take a body during this time. And they chose to take a body at this time because they're able, they have proven to themselves that they are able, as they come down and take that third dimensional body, that they remember that that's just one part of them. That's just that small area of their complete consciousness that makes them look like everyone else, that allows them to talk like everyone else. They said, okay, yes, I know this is far out, but this is what I'm getting from something that I know is much stronger and much higher than my daily drive-in traffic, go to the grocery store self. And lots of times nobody gets recognition for it, but they do get recognition because if they know it, they're going to live it. And not everybody needs to be a big leader. There's lots of day-to-day people that they have open hearts and open minds, and they are there, and they are holding this light and sharing it with everyone that they meet and grounding it into the core of Gaia. And nobody knows they're doing that. So lots of them don't even know that they're doing that. And that's a wonderful way, because then you don't have to have any mess with your ego, because you don't even know you're doing it. You're just doing it because you have awakened your fourth and your fifth dimensional self. And there's a lot of people who are awakening to their fourth and their fifth dimensional self. In other words, they are opening up parts of their brain and parts of their emotional selves that were never opened before. So it's kind of like you think you have just a small little house, and so you just live in your little house and you do these little things in your little house. Then one day you discover this door that you never knew that door was there. So you go over to that door and say, wow, what? It's locked, it's locked. And then you say, no, it's not locked. I won't believe this door is locked. I want this door to unlock. I want to know what it is. And the door opens, and all this light comes in, and all this information comes in, and all these memories come in. And all you had to do was open the door.